Newbee taking on Digital Chaos. Pretty important match. I'm not sure if DC actually have a shot at the upper bracket anymore, but still could affect seeding, still could affect if they're one of the teams available to be picked. Newbee come in looking definitely mortal. We got to see them play LFY yesterday, and LFY took care of business. Of course, that team looks incredibly strong, but nonetheless a bit shaky. So we've got Newbee at 9-5 right now, DC at 6-8. I believe OG lurking at 8-6 could still bounce any of these teams, Newbee, IG, and VP. So there's a lot of potential for this whole thing to shuffle going down into the final two games. So for Newbee, very important as their upper bracket is on the line. For DC, not important in that regard, but is important for seeding.
I think actually if DC 2-0s them here, and OG loses...
If OG loses both their games, then they would be tied and they'd play tiebreaker. So there's
exactly.
Like a small...
So it doesn't matter. Yeah.
Well,
it doesn't matter for Newbee at all, right?
No, it wouldn't matter for upper bracket though, because they're still not top 4. They would just be tied with OG for lower bracket.
But you get to choose, or do you not get a choice at all? I've heard that
you do get to choose. So I don't know if they'd play a tiebreaker game for that. But then either OG or DC would get to choose their opponent, which would be the third or fourth.
That's assuming DC O2's their next opponent.
Yeah. So DC is not upper bracket. Newbee is not guaranteed upper bracket, but is in pole position for it. So confusing tiebreak scenarios aside, let's just talk about the Dota. That's something that we're probably a little more comfortable doing here. It is going to be the Puck first overall pick for DC. Sandking, Shadow Shaman will be the reply.
Hey, it's Sandking again. What a surprise.
Yeah, definitely not a surprise at all. So it's something Chinese teams just love. They love their Shadow Shaman. They love that pushing hero. We've seen LFY do it a lot. We've seen LGD do it a lot. OG, probably the one Western team that really likes the Shaman. Not that popular with most others. And it just gives you that guaranteed push from the support role, which is fairly rare nowadays.
I think actually this is Faith's best hero, at least recently, in the last couple of months. He always plays a sacrificial role, but in this particular role, he gets a little bit more than usual, and he uses that extra gold very effectively. He has recently started buying Medallion of Courage, which allows his Serpent Wards to be committed for Roshan as well for an extra set of objectives, should he likes to do so. But like you mentioned, good pushing support, also a very strong lane dominator. That might give Clockwork a little bit of tough time, should Clockwork be the offlaner. But what do you feel about the Phase 1 Meepo ban? You think Newbee's got the memo, whether DC has actually stopped picking this hero altogether?
I mean, you say they've stopped picking it, but they might just bust it out. You know, you can't assume they won't pick it, and it just that hero completely changes the game. So maybe first phase is a little extreme. Like if you have a whole draft to plan around banning Meepo, or countering Meepo, you probably should be able to.
Yeah.
But I think it just shows like Newbee are confident and they're straight on Dota, and they just don't want to have to deal with something unconventional.
Second phase bans here. Shadow Fiend being taken out to prevent the Shadow Fiend Clockwork combo. I guess they're somewhat so expecting this Puck to have a possibility of the offlane, although I think for DC, it's generally always a bet playing it.
10 seconds remaining.
Yeah.
This draft ban seems very different from what we've seen from Cloud9 just now. I want to say Cloud9, I mean obviously Cloud9 versus DC, they play against each other a lot, but Newbee, I don't think they've done their homework, at least for the pick ban phase. Because they take out both Drow and Shadow Fiend. If you expect Puck to be going off lane to fit the Shadow Fiend, then Drow is generally the pairing for it. So I don't know, this ban at least doesn't make sense to me. Probably makes sense to them.
Yeah, I guess maybe suggesting they really want to focus on the laning stage, and they don't want DC to overrun them there. Obviously that Clock Shadow Fiend duo, as you mentioned, very strong together. The Drow can enable the other lanes to really excel, so I feel like both of those bans in a way are just, you know, trying to shore up their laning stage. Because Shaman obviously is not the strongest laner. Sandking is a pretty good laner, but also wants to spend as much me time as possible in the woods. So in that regard, you know, weakening the lanes of DC is a very worthy objective for Newbee.
Hey, Venomancer. So this is the Newbee Cheese special. Venom on the safe lane, Shaman wards, and they just push. I don't think this particular strategy of them, I mean, it's a good one, but they're very sloppy with it.
So Dragon Knight is an obvious option for the mid lane, but that was actually banned already. Death Prophet, probably the next best thing if they really want to commit heavily to the push. I would say Invoker is a consideration if you want some late game insurance. That's an SCCC special.
There's also Pugna, but I think it just makes your overall lineup very, very squishy. So
I like the Invoker the best if they want to take it a bit later, and I like the Death Prophet best if they really want to emphasize the push. But the one thing I don't like about the DP Lumi is they don't have a save. They have no Dazzle. You know, they don't have an Oracle. Was amazing, honestly. Some of those Death Prophet Oracle games we saw at MDL, but no one's picking him in the games that we've cast. So
I mean, your save could come from the offlane. You could pick up like let's say an LC with press the attack.
We saw the Abaddon.
You could even go Faceless Void with the Chronosphere. So, you know, your own DP is not exactly the best save, but it does keep her out of harm's way for a little bit.
How do you feel about this NP from Digital Chaos? Does that surprise you at all? It looks like probably an Abed Puck now.
Yes. Not really. I kind of expected Abed Puck going into this because he's very good on the hero. And I really like MP. We've been seeing a lot of it out of LFY in particular, but most team have been playing at Team Liquid as well. And it's just a phase drums build. You just kind of teleport into these fights and just pick them off in the back line. And if you look at how squishy these heroes are, well, maybe not anymore given now that there's Underlord, but Shadow Shaman, Venomancer, even to a certain extent the Sand King, if you TP behind them with a single stun, you are going to get these heroes killed. So I like that in that regard.
10 seconds remaining.
But what about the Pit Lord?
I've heard about this Pit Lord. I have the Underlord. I haven't actually seen him. Like
Heard rumors of him?
Only in MDL, and I saw him getting clowned on every game.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't think Underlord fits the playstyle of KP. KP is a big playmaking support, or offlane rather. He gets a Blink Dagger, and he, you know, whether it's an axe, he hits your 2-man, 3-man Berserker call. He's a great slaughter. He's a great Faceless Void, just the initiator for the team. This demands a very different skill set in terms of understanding when to go in, when to back up. How long can you tank in the front line with your Pipe and Greaves? And it looks like DC is pushing very differently, but pushing as well.
Lycan now snagged up. So yeah, push for both teams. Pretty heavy at that. How good of a Lycan game is it? How does he actually match up against Underlord, like in this laning stage?
I don't think Underlord could actually pressure him, can he?
I don't know. I've never seen the match.
Because Lycan, once you get to level 5, you have 7 HP regen per second with Pharaoh Impulse. And I just don't think Firestorm is enough in terms of pressuring him. I think this is a great Lycan game. I think Lycan matches up against Venomancer extremely well because during nighttime you howl, you give your team essentially a mech worth of HP, which goes in a long way surviving against a ton of this AoE damage from Sand King, Veno, and Underlord. I'd like to see a pipe builder from the team. Clockwork likely to be pipe builder, but if that Cloud9 game has taught us anything, is that anybody could build pipe, including your safe lane carry Slark.
Yeah, certainly true. They will ban out the Rubik. They are very heavily magic damage focused. I guess in terms of the team fight potential anyway, there's some ward physical damage, but that's really about it. So in that sense, I guess the Rubik ban makes sense. Lots of good spells to steal here. The Plague Wards, the Serpent Wards, the Burrow Strike, the Pit of Malice, the Firestorm even was a great way to stop the push, so I do like the Rubik ban a lot. And the Aura also is great against that magic damage.
I think the Aura in particular. Stealing Firestorm versus Underlord is like the bee's knees. It actually helps you so much in terms of defending the push. Okay, there's a little bit of sustain here, a little bit of extra armor. That's going to be a Dubu hero. I think for Newbee, they want some sort of physical damage mid that could help assist in hitting the tower. Do you still like the DP in that position, or do you prefer the Invoker a little bit more?
I think the Invoker's better if they want like one of those classic SCCC heroes, because there's just, like you said, so much physical damage mitigation from Dazzle. Like, and sometimes we'll get that plus armor, but they go Bristle, so they don't go that direction at all, and we aren't going to see the standard heroes, I guess, as far as playmakers go, but it is a great frontline tank.
Yes.
With something they were a bit lacking, unless you want to count the Underlord.
And I think the way that Newbee is going to play, at least during their pushes, is they send SCCC up in the front line. He is going to draw attention, he's going to draw fire, and then Faith drops his wards, Mugi sets up his, and then eventually the tower goes down. and they'll rinse and repeat until you are out of buildings.
All right, Lumi, draft complete. Newbee, a lot on the line. DC, a little. Whose do you favor?
I think I'm with Newbee's lineup here. I feel like their lineup is very easy to execute. It has a lot of room for error because the team fights do tend to go long, and they have the pit lord with Greaves and Pipe. I feel like DC, if they're winning these team fights, they have to come in from like really awkward angles, like from the back, trying to flank Faith on the Shadow Shaman. They have the heroes for it. They have Pug, they have Clockwork, they have the Nature's Prophet, but they also have to play better than Newbee. I think Newbee is like, they just need to play a standard game, whereas DC needs to excel a little bit, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I would agree. They have very, like, the control is a big problem here. You've got a Puck, and you've got a Clockwork, and that's basically it. So, in that regard, I think definitely easier to execute for Newbee. However, we have seen that DC is capable of pulling out some big plays anyway, at least historically. Bulbous Clock, a thing of beauty to behold. We won't get that farm priority as an offlaner, but let's see what he can do. We're underway now, DC. Newbee game 1, players entering the field of battle. We do see Dubu planting down the deep ward, Bulba doing the same. They get some good vision here.
This ward in particular, overseeing the Radiant jungle, is very interesting. The one, the high ground on the left side?
Yeah.
The other one.
It's pretty rare to place that.
Yeah, I was wondering if he wants to see some sort of like Firestorm jungle from KB or something like that. But I guess one thing for sure is that thing is not going to get dewarded.
That you are right about, my friend. Nobody expects that. Unless you break the smoke while he's there. Which I don't believe happened.
30 seconds.
So, anything unusual that you're seeing as we get ready for these lanes?
I think everything looks fairly standard. Yeah, nothing out of the ordinary. 4F does start with boots first, but I think Prophet nowadays have been doing that. He is invading the jungle.
Throwing a little dance party. Trying to pump up his buddies on Newbee.
The way that those little trees move also feels like they're part of the dance party. He's part of the crew,
Yeah. Yeah, he is. 4Ev now, gonna be rushing the phase boots. I wonder what they do with this Nature's Prophet. Like, we've seen some very effective ones in this tournament. I think Inflame had a really good MP game that we cast previously.
I think the most effective ones are the ones that fight early. So look for phase boots, look for drums, maybe even blade mail, and just port in, backstab, look for kills. Like I mentioned earlier, a lot of these heroes are extremely squishy.
The plague is getting me. KP early on going to be taking a few pokes, but with the 5 armor from Mason, he'll be fine for now. Do you see the Nature's Prophet trying to do some cheeky little side pulls? Getting those creeps back behind the safe confines of his tower, where he's much more difficult to gank. Bulba focusing on zoning back SCCC mid, looking for the cog pushback, trying to limit that mana pool, get Abed off to a nice start. Now Abed's getting the help. Would have loved to have it against C9.
Different series. Hopefully it's not still on his mind too much. The courier sending back. Prophet not level 2 yet, so no like teleport snipes on the courier.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Yeah, we haven't really seen those at all with the Nature's Prophets. At least not in the laning stage. It used to be a little more of a thing.
Yeah, maybe people just kind of forgot about it.
Or it's just like that early experience is so crucial that you don't want to fall behind, I guess. Plus, teams are better at protecting their couriers, I think.
Yeah, I think the courier went back, not through the mid ramp, but like, through the trees on the right side. Small things, but...
Kaka is going to be moving around, finds a nice DD rune. No dire vision of this either. He can make a play. Let's see where he goes. He's going to snag the bounty next. KP very difficult to harass here, and they are going to sweep around a 4F. They might try for the first blood bottom. He doesn't know this is coming, but Bulba is there to scout out Kaka. Can burrow and get some good harass off if he so desires, but not worth the exchange in his mind.
Oh, he needs to save his burrow. If he burrows in and gets cogged, the battery assault is just going to kill him. So...
Yeah.
just a one hit and run. The lanes are very passive, although with that said, KP looks like in the top lane is having quite an issue here. South goes. That's all of his region. I think passive lane favors Newbee quite a bit because they're the team that needs quite a bit of time to come online. KP needs a ton of items. Faith needs his level, things like that. Veno needs his levels. So all they really want is just to farm.
And farm they are, though they're getting out-farmed quite a bit in every core position right now. So while they get their levels, they are struggling elsewhere. As Abed diving pretty deep here against SCCC, trying to cut that wave, salving up. Maybe looking for another go. Boba comes in as well. Battery Assault now activated, but SCCC has the bottle. Charges in his own right, heals him back to safety. Very tough kill, even at this stage, for these two. Still the pressure there, helping, as Abed is now surging ahead and CS. 6 extra last hits, 5 denies, make it 4, so a decent advantage instead of being at a deficit. Good laning stage for DC so far.
Yep. This Prophet offlane has really been impressing me as well. One of the strengths of Shadow Shaman is being able to pressure a lot of offlaner, but he has the army trees and now Faith is actually trapped in. He's going to try to take a fight here. Forev getting shackled up, but I think he's going to win the man fight or not. Ooh, who got the first kill? It's going to be Faith. Now the Gale's going to come out. Dubu is going to trade a couple more hits. The tree's coming in with the Howl. I believe the Howl came out late. Had they had the Howl, maybe I think the first blood would have gone to DC.
Yeah, I think you're right there. And just slightly underestimated the amount of damage that the Shaman Ether Shock can put out. Level 2, already a 200 damage nuke, which is insane for a level 2 nuke. That burst.
Actually, the Howl would have changed the tide of the battle quite a bit with the bonus damage and the HP.
Yeah.
Somebody dropped the ball there.
Well, bit of a missed opportunity for DC in any case, as they will lose the first blood. Still a slight lead despite that, as Kaka gets up a ward. If he sees Dubu leave, they might look to cinch the noose on 4F, really commit for that kill. As CCC stacking his own Ancients. Look at this guy. Efficient. Or at least trying, yeah, he'll get the stack there too.
Did he like use his body to do it or just
Quill stacked it.
That is the best way to do it.
Yeah, so he misses very little experience, gets right back to the lane. Kaka also farming the jungle. Newbee doing a good job at abusing economy options here. Just ramping up for a fearsome mid-game, even if the lanes aren't exactly going in their favor right now.
Yep. Dubu does actually scout out the stack. That's something that maybe Digital Chaos could look to steal it.
Yeah, they've got good heroes to steal that. Like, once you get the Trance,
Lycan,
the Wolves, the Lycan. They're not amazing, they don't have any AoE, but they just have a lot of summons.
I know you said that, you know, Abed is getting help, but do you think that maybe DC supports are wasting time trying to help him mid? Because I don't think you could kill SCCC.
I think it's important that Abed gets off to a good start, as he is going to be the playmaker in the mid game. Like, who else is going to do it? Bulba, who's our support Clockwork.
Dubu?
Not going to happen for a while. Dubu is in a bit of trouble here. Let's get off that heal, though. Kaka continues pursuit. Poison Touch coming through. There's the Burrow connection. 4F's going to TP out. They will sack Dubu down again. Meanwhile, elsewhere, Abed being hounded by SCCC, but grabs the Haster and orbs on back. So this could set up for their next aggression. I think he has to have a good start, or their lineup just has no way to set up for kills. And if they can't set up for kills, their push is not that good.
You talked about how he is the control, but I think he's more than that. He also needs to do a ton of damage for the team, because I feel like when you're up against this very tanky lineup with the SCCC Bristleback, with the Underlord, with the pipe and stuff like that, he needs to get to me like Veil, Blink, Yules into Dagon or something. Like, he needs to be a huge contributor in control and damage. Top lane.
The KP here, Poison Touch comes through. Now dropping the Firestorm, they're fighting within it, but the heals help mitigate that damage. Pushed out of the cogs. Down will go, a 4-hero pile up. Does secure the Pit Lord kill, and more importantly perhaps, the tower as well. They get the ward down behind it.
Oh, Dubu almost dies. We'll be fine.
Mason and Dubu too low, so no, they're not going to be able to push for the tower. Underlord coming right back, no creep wave to speak of really.
Did they not see Forev go into the trees on the left?
Abed meanwhile, bottom lane, Coil committed. Bulba's here with the Battery Assault, no escape for Mugi. Push back though, he gets up the Poison Nova. Abed should be okay, 17 stick charges, 3 bottle charges to boot. But does take some hefty punishment for that. They're going to shrine up now, so nice efficient move. But Mason, meanwhile, in danger in the top lane. No ultimate. They make their committed dive. Shackle to follow up the burrow strike. They lock him down. They slowly chew him up. In the green firestorm, he will fall.
So with both the one position core dying back to back like this, I think that also favors Newbee, because I think Venomancer is the hero that could take a death or two early on, and that won't really affect his efficiency too much. Whereas I feel like the Lycan is the one that needs to be hitting his item timing.
Yeah, I think DC are very timing reliant. A timely puck blink, timely pushes as well before Newbee get too many levels. Like if you imagine the Sand King getting a blink dagger, the Bristle getting his first 2 items, Shaman as the wards, like max plague wards, like good luck pushing into this lineup.
Or defending your tower.
And obviously defending their towers is a weakness of DC. They only have really just the puck to do that. I bet it's going to commit here, maybe for Kaka. Silence to start. Oh, just threatening. Baits out that TP. And then backs away. And now the rest of the team comes in. They can maybe get 2 kills here. Kaka in danger, going to tank that poison touch. And now the Cog's pushing him back. Lacks the mana for the burrow. Does have, however, the stick, but it won't matter. Gets brought down anyway. Now KP being controlled. Constant battery assault stuns. No Dark Rift for you, sir.
Well, he has a Force Staff queued up in his quick buy. I was wondering why he's going that instead of a Force Staff. I think we just saw why. Like, they're going to just run at you with Cogs as well as Sprouts, and you better have a good way to get out, or 2 good ways to get out. That will delay their, or rather weaken their group up potential though, so that's something that will make it somewhat easier to defend versus the Newbee push.
Yeah, talking about the overall laning stage is now basically over, Lumi. Who do you feel has come out on top here, and what do you expect from the teams moving forward?
I want to say it's fairly even. I felt like Newbee got a little bit more out of the safe lane than DC did, and they also got more out of the mid lane with the Bristleback, just basically free farming. Also, I think Newbee got more critical levels on the heroes that matter. So overall, I think Newbee is just slightly better off, but it's not an advantage that's so big where it's like, you know, insurmountable. I think the game is still rather close, despite with Newbee doing slightly better.
Okay. Let's see if that changes. They're going to make a move on Faith now. He's out pretty far top lane. Forrest's there to set it up. There's a TP, but
Cogs
pushback should prevent this. No, battery salt, and then the trance being spawned, ensure that he is trapped out all the same. As Abed drives by those H's, is keeping tabs on them. SCCC definitely wants to farm them. I don't know if they have the burst to kill off all Bristle. It's a bit of a weakness of this DC draft, I mean, they're not very good at dealing with Bristleback. No heavy physical burst damage. Like, Lycan is okay, but he also is going to be walking into a lot of crowd control if he goes for that.
Yeah, they need like Weave to do a lot of work. They need the Cogs to be locking him down for a long duration of that. But you're right. That's why the final pick Bristleback. You know, we were expecting things like Invoker or Death Prophet could have actually just get easily chomped down by the big wolf, right? But Bristleback here is like, I don't care. I'm a big pick.
Nature's Wrath crashing through, trying to slow down this Newbee group up. Ancients cleared out. Now SCCC making his move. They're going to commit the Firestorm here.
And the wards.
Lock down this wave, and this is what you could expect to see from Newbee.
Yep.
Just pop the wards down, start hitting a tower, and now Abed caught out. Kaka's got an opening here for a 2-hero burrow.
He's just rooted every 2 seconds. Well, now you can see the wards just going to get focused. They ignore everything else. They know the ward's doing most of the damage. The tower could have been denied, but a little bit more focus on the ward.
Meanwhile, bottom lane, Mugi's in far, drops the, throws out the Poison Nova, and then tries to commit, but won't get the kills. Another death for Mugi. That's twice now, but all the while the lanes are being shoved in. Still Newbee are farming. They're still in the lead here in net worth. Actually, the graph continuing to rise. It's a slight lead, but it seems like those deaths are still creating a lot of opportunities elsewhere on the map.
One of the weakness of these kind of group up pushing strat for Newbee is that your levels tend to suffer a little bit as you group up more and more. So I think that's something that DC could take advantage of. And like, sure, they're perhaps losing some of the towers now, they're losing some of the fights now, but I think moving forward, as the level disparity continues to grow, DC could be a little bit better off in the mid game.
Radiant scan will clip Mr. Bulbino. Lobs out the rocket. starting to move in. It looks like they have isolated Kaka here. A hook shot on cooldown, but Abed sets it up with the silence. Coil available, and now Kaka tanking that urn. Gonna break it, try to get out of range of Bulba. Good play by him, but still the orb coming through. The Nature's Wrath just connecting in time before that Sandstorm hits. Another kill. Now Bulba's hook shot again. DC are just applying the full court press here.
Interesting that SC is completely skipping the hood. A big regen item for the Bristleback, and there's a lot of magic damage. I mean, it's not all magic damage. I think the Vanguard is the stronger piece of the two against this particular lineup, but rarely you see the hood being skipped. You see Vanguard being skipped more frequently.
Bulba's still looking for the openings here. He's going to jump in, catch up, Faith, instant, Hex, Ward Trap. In comes Mason, trying to keep him alive. Now the Wolves join the party. He tries to get out of these wards. He's so damn tanky, but they still bring him down. However, Mason looks to farm those up. Kaka there with the reply. No epicenter yet, even though he's level 7. Mason just going to TP out. Makes it home in time. Dubu also makes it out. Beam me home, Scotty. And they barely get out of there. DC force out the wards, get the 1-for-1 trade, and escape with their lives.
Yeah,
almost lost 3.
Very good clutch play by DC. Like, if Newbee got those 3 kills with the ward, fully worth, but only the 1-for-1 trade, not as much.
Close though. That was one of those like, oh, if they lose 3 heroes there, this is a complete train wreck for DC. But it wasn't. And now, for good news for DC as well, Abed, most farmed hero in the game, has the Veil, has the Blink. How much can he do with this moving forward? Can this puck take the game over the way you expect Abed to?
I think if the group up happens, the puck is going to have a relatively tough time to find kills, but before the group up starts, I think Abed could maybe walk around with his team and start sniping some of these weaker, squishier heroes like the Venomancer, the Shaman.
Next steps for DC, they almost have the Orchid on 4Ev. I already mentioned the puck.
Yep.
So the pick-off potential is certainly going to be there.
Yeah, the next step is to find ganks and pick off people. We're going to start here on Kaka. Kaka jukes to the south side. We'll have Burrow Strike, and we'll burrow into the tree line. Does have a TP. We'll use it. Oh, the hook misses. The silence is not going to be there in time. Boba.
That's not TI3 Bulba.
No, that is not.
TI3 Bulba wouldn't have missed that.
KP is going to port home.
Now Newbee see an opening now. Straight into the Roche pit. No hook shot available. No coil either. Contesting this will be tricky, and with so many wards in the pit and the Bristle boss out in front, DC are going to have a tough time moving in, but they will try. Kaka out in front.
Yeah, Kaka is going to need to go to the right side and block that hook. Excuse me, hook's still on cooldown. Puck comes in.
Abed! Oh, he gets the last hit on the Roche. However, the Aegis does go the way of Newbee, and SCCC the one to grab it, so they're going to have a second life here to work with on the Bristleback. And the first one's painful enough. Doesn't keep his back turned. Mesa tries to make it out. The Burrow comes through. Good timing on the Grave. They've lost 3. Potentially 4. SCCC won't catch him. KP. Gonna be difficult for him, but the Wolf's ult is over. Mason, no teleport scroll. Not sure he makes it out of here, Lumi. It's gonna be a long, long, long journey home. And he says, no, take me, Ancients. Take me now.
Okay.
So they lose 4. They do manage to at least kill the Roshan. The Aegis snatched by SCCC immediately is forced out. So no Aegis siege push coming soon.
I think the Aegis is more just denying it from DC. I mean, obviously it's good on SCCC, but making sure that Digital Chaos don't have it on Puck or Lycan is a pretty big part of the plan as well. I don't think they actually need the Aegis to actually go for the push. All they really do need is just the cooldowns and their items.
With the Orchid complete, where will DC look for those next kill opportunities? They roam towards bottom now. Hunting for Mugi. He's been called out quite a bit this game. He is going to scout Abed now. Could orb forward if he really wants to dive this, but that's a risky maneuver and not one he's liable to take.
I think Mugi, once he has a 4-star finish, he's going to be much harder of a kill.
But he already has it.
Yeah. Sorry, that's...
Oh, now that he has it.
Now that he has it, it's going to be harder because, you know, the Clockwork Cogs are not going to be reliable anymore. Puck is still decent, but he'll just 4-staff away from your coil and be on his merry way. KP
could be a pick off here. Let's see, does Newbee want to try and team up on him? They could bring in Bulba. Hook shot's ready.
He also has a Force Staff.
Yeah, they do have the Orchid Prophet. Like, maybe they can burst him, but Pit Lord's pretty tanky. Vanguard also complete. 1,700 health Lumi.
So I think it's time to go, right? If you're Newbee. You got pretty much all your items.
Sand King Blank as Triple C. The one thing they are lacking, which I think would be warranted this game, is a pipe.
Yep.
Just like a
And nobody's building towards it.
puck with a Veil alone and an NP ult, like that actually is worth a pipe right there. But normally Pit Lord would get that, and it seems they're more worried about the physical damage. They've gone for a Solar Crest, a Vanguard on SCCC. We also have the Crimson Guard being constructed by KP. So they're very worried about this physical damage.
Fight's brewing here.
Abed kiting them around, trying to steal these Ancients right now. SCCC is not afraid.
What do you think about Mugi's choice actually to select a Yasha as his follow-up item? As opposed to, like, let's say a Dragonlance or an Agadams that you see so commonly in the safe lane, Venno.
So I don't think they have really a good late game right clicker. This kind of helps solve that. Venno's never going to be amazing, but
Or you could just finish the game, you know? Like
Yeah.
that helps your late game too.
that's an argument. I think this maybe is the insurance approach, but Yasha's a value damage item as well. So
Well, they need to hit these wards, and they do. So those wards are perhaps dropped in the not so good spot.
maybe a little bit early. Newbee are going to lose their
That's
Serpent wards. They'll back away. They'll be farmed up. That's like the second or third time that a sea of wards has been freely farmed by the DC squad.
Yep.
Big part of why this game is not that lopsided.
You know, it's like you take one of the towers, they take about essentially like, 20% of a tower back just in the wards bounty.
Then a couple plague wards as
Yeah.
well. Yeah, I think it's just an insurance policy. I'm not really sure why else you would go Yasha, but who is going to do the damage later on if it does go late? And you're up against the Prophet, you're up against the Lycan, even a Puck, 3 heroes that can rat, 3 heroes that can split push, cut waves. You might not be able to end this game early, even if you want to.
I guess he's also respecting the silences. It's kind of pretty important for him to get off his ultimate.
Yeah, the Puck as well as the Orchid.
Yeah. Uh-oh. They're going to catch themselves a Dazzle.
No teleport scroll, no way out for Newbee. Goodbye, Mr. Shadow Priest. Quite the change from the Cloud9 DC series, huh? I'm a lot calmer.
Yeah. Oh, looks like we are going to set up a gank on Kaka up top. TP comes in for Rev. Has the Orchid, like you mentioned, and he is going to be the kind of the backstabber of the team. Has the Shadow Blade finish as well now.
Yeah, definitely itemizing for Rat and Pickoff.
And it seems like he will have a lot of time before Newbee actually groups up. I keep saying that they can group up, but I think they're trying to wait for SCCC's Radiance. And it's going to be a while before that comes online. So I think there's going to be a lot of opportunities for DC to use that Orchid and Shadow Blade combination.
They want to make their move now. Mason revving up his ultimate, but Abed keeps on blocking. Get the hell out of my way, Mason says. Gets the coil off on Faith. Does have the wards, won't be able to plant them down in time. Still though, channeling onto this tower. Dark Rift. KP will enter the field of battle, and Mason forced away. Still Abed kiting them from the rear, looking for those low-hanging fruit pickoffs, but nobody available for the taking. Yeah, the Radiance, if they want to wait for that Lumen, it's going to be another 4 or 5 minutes probably.
Yep. And that's enough time for, let's say, Boba to finish the pipe. I think once the pipe's online, you can make the argument that the teamfight for DC is even better. A lot of Sand King's damage, the Firestorm damage is going to be mitigated. I can't help but feel that Newbee has missed their timing window a little bit. That Serpent Ward to drop on the high ground, that delayed their push by like 2 minutes. Because you can imagine, instead of dropping it there, they could just take it in a tier 2 for free with the Serpent Wards.
Gonna be do work on the tier 2 top now. 3 of them grouping up, slowly chopping away. Gonna be another tower down. 1 remains, as meanwhile Bulba In a bit too far here. Newbee is going to be able to punish him. Albed was around, but they decide not to land additional support. Has the hook ready. Does he have a good target to go to? No escape for Mr. Bulba. But DC might find us Triple C. I don't know that that's a possible kill. Even with the coil ready. Triple C farming the enemy agents now. This is the one thing that is concerned for DC. Like, when are they going to be able to kill him? Silver Edge could be the answer. Forev is close to it.
Yep.
So maybe with the Silver Edge they'll have a shot.
Silver Edge, coil, cogs, lock him down, and then, you know, right click. Although, there are double force staffs, so it's hard to actually kill him through double force. Like, there's just no hard stun.
Oh, they did see Kaka here with that Dire Observer Ward. Scan also catching SCCC, so they know where 2 of the Newbee heroes are. Not sure they're going to be able to kill either, though. Just a very split push style game from DC. That's 4F hunting for that Radiant Courier. I think they saw him? I want to say they did. But reinforcements are arriving where they can't catch Triple C. Moogie might be more killable, but he has that Force Staff. Making life hard. That's the thing, like DC have this great ganking lineup, and they've itemized for those pickoffs, but there's only a few really easily killed targets. Faith on the Shaman, maybe the Sand King. And that's going to be about it. And soon that Sand King will have a Force Staff and then maybe a Yule Scepter of his own.
Yeah.
So I like the way Newbee is itemizing to cut down on DC's ability to achieve their objective.
Mid lane Serpent Wards are dropped. They drop everything for this guy. Puck and Boba might be in a little bit of trouble. Puck gets out of there. Boba trying his best to work out. Even if Boba dies here, they got them to use the ward, so I think it's fine. Although Roshan, though, is the next look here for for Newbee.
Will they try to Rosh? Not having the Serpent Wards. They might be able to with Plague Wards and Vano, but it's a fairly slow Rosh, I want to say.
They do have the goo. That'll help. I mean, SC does have a relic on him, so.
And the Solar Crest, so maybe not. Newbee will be able to take this down in time by the looks of things.
He's not using the Solar Crest?
He already used it.
Oh, okay. Oh, I see. Did not notice
too much stuff in the pit.
Yeah, there's a...
Here comes Abed, though, looking for the big jump. Not going to find it. Just celebrate Newbee's Roshan with a little fireworks. Lob in the orb there.
Do we all chats the time to throw, 29:49?
The time to throw. Yeah.
Didn't somebody type 31:57 or something?
Oh, the NV 31:54.
Or 54, yeah. That's the time to throw, right?
Agent 3154, I believe, is the meme.
Yeah.
Know your meme, Lumi.
Just some random numbers.
All numbers are random. It's us people that give them meaning. It's Dota that gives them meaning.
Actually, L deep. Now we are struggling to give meaning to this game right now, as action has slowed down to a crawl, but the impending 5-man is coming for Newbee. They're waiting out for the Shaman cooldown, and once he's got it, it is go time. Triple Force Staff now.
Well, they're gonna find KP here, get that silence off. Hook comes through, look for the cog back with the Sprout as well, and then yep, see you later, guys. They're gonna commit Mason's ultimate for this.
You could TP here, I think.
As well. He's even got the soul. Yeah, the Crimson Guard. Yeah, you're not killing him. It's so hard to kill. Like, you can't kill him. You really can't kill SCCC. Moogie is very tough now with Cheese, Manta, and the Force Staff. Like, Faith has even got his own Force Staff, as you mentioned. So they've itemized for pickoff. They've itemized for individual hero kills, and they just can't find them.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
They need, what, like a Hex or something?
Hex are not good against Force Staff either.
Yeah, unless you find a hero in isolation, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, like, they just need to coil as many people as possible, and then, yeah, sure, Force Staff would help them, but they're still stunned, right? It's more damage that they need on Lycan. If Lycan could chomp them down during the duration of the stuns for the Dream Coil, then it's all
right, round 2. Here we go. KP in position in the top lane. Mason's there, coming from the rear. Already, KP trying to deal with this via the Dark Rift, and he's outie.
Meanwhile, bottom
lane though, the bigger kill. Forever, no such escape plan in mind. He will go down. Newbee, they've got the reliable lockdown. They've got the real kill potential. And they make it look easy. That's how you gank, they say to DC. Now the cheese handoff as Triple C. They'll have that extra life, essentially, to go with the Aegis. Oh, just crack it open now. They want to try and force the issue. Wards get dropped. No Prophet ult. They need to get back and defend the base, though. Does SCCC want to stick around? You'd think he would, with the Shiva's Guard coming in. The Pit Lord about to arrive. Their 5-man is fearsome. And Newbee are starting to knock on that front door. They hit the Gale on Abed. They're going to slow this pesky Fairy Dragon down. Now force him to orb away. Keep on whacking at that tower. KP gives it a few pokes. SCCC joins him at his side. Now Moogie holding onto the Manta to ensure he can get off this Poison Nova when and if DC commit, and they might have to do it soon. In goes SCCC. Now Bulba coming for the sides. He cogs up KP, but KP's so tanky, I don't know that's the best catch. With the Crimson Guard, he retreats successfully. SCCC still dishing out the damage. Abed's there at the finish. They have brought down the Pit Lord. A good hold for now. They've cracked open the Aegis, but the tier 3's down. DC, they're losing structures, and Kaka comes in. Mostly the epicenter gets dodged, only the tail end of it. Dubu just barely being hit, but they're all now immolating in the Radiance, burning down one. Looking for Mason as well. They might lose their whole team. Already 3 have fallen. SCCC, Warcraft 3 surround, but 4-step to the rescue. Push him once, push him again, get him out of there, keep him alive, and now the Hex. Abed comes in from behind, but ambushed and overwhelmed. The teamwork outplays the 10K, and DC lose another. On the run, Abed will manage to hit up that shrine, and they do clean up. 4 have actually fallen for Newbee. Fight salvaged after many buybacks, and base saved, at least for now. It cost them 3 though, Lumi.
It did, but still very good play here by DC. They break the team in half essentially, with the Prophet and the Puck going for the back lines, and then, you know, the Lycan trying to do his best in the front. And they were able to defend off of that. I still think that Newbee just needs to be a little bit more patient with the way that they use the Serpent Ward on Faith. Twice now, the Serpent Wards just get dropped down, gives away like 200 gold, and did nothing.
I still consider that fine for Newbee. They take the tier 3, they can go for shrines next. They force out 3 buybacks. They also were nearing the end of that Aegis, so that's when you want to fight anyway. And now they should be able to assume that next level of map control if they execute right. Just gotta be careful not to get picked off while the team's respawning, while they're regrouping. Forev's diving deep, he wants to punish, but he gets hexed up. He could be shackled now as well. In comes Big Bad Mason though with the BKB and a head full of steam. Breaking the coil is Kaka. Right before the team respawns, they all run in and start dying. Newbee getting impatient, getting run over. They didn't expect DC to dive so deep. And they fight one by one, and they die one by one. SCCC's turn to come in. He's got to respect the Silver Edge, which is going to be cooling down soon. Buyback not available on the Pit Lord or the Sand King. Newbee getting very sloppy here. Could have just sat in the base, waited for the respawns, and then had a good fight, but didn't respect DC's willingness to die.
They want to fight again. It's going to be SC. Has the force to have 2-man silence. It's not enough to actually get anything done. When is the group up for Newbee?
Probably after the next Roche, right? I think with how close
it's actually a while before the next Roche.
Without the Aegis, that last fight was just too close. I still think they need a pipe. Like, if you're going for this much 5-man, it just seems like such an obvious value pickup. Another Solar Crest, this time for DC. Armor, the name of the game in this particular series. As Kaka is going to be farming his zone jungle, trying to catch up. We'll see a Hurricane Pike coming next for Moogie, so, you know, got the Manta, but hasn't really been dishing out all that much damage despite it. Didn't go for the Ags, didn't go for the Veil. Just going to be utility, semi-carry Venno, but without that big hitting item yet.
I think he's just all about the wards, it feels like.
And making sure he gets off the Poison Nova.
Yeah. He's getting close to 25. Does have the 30% experience talent, so, you know, if he gets to there and he's slamming wards on your high ground, that might be a big issue for DC.
Definitely looking to just cut these waves, push the lanes in, avoid the 5v5 unless they really have to. And then as Newbee spread to counter it, find those little pickoffs. Radiant Scan and Smoke, they are hunting for the rats. They haven't found him yet. Forev lurks in the trees. Grab the Dragon Lance. Now gets the BKB. Still very focused on his, hero combat and those smaller skirmishes with this build. You have to get that big damage item to let him take down a building, like say a Desolator. But
I wonder
late game.
if it's better off for him to get a little bit more control. You were kind of mentioning Scythe of Ice earlier, but Force Staff's still good against that. But there are other forms like Orchid, perhaps. Or
yeah, I mean,
upgrade to Orchid, I mean.
That last fight went okay for them, but that was also when Newbee as 5 came to them and chose to all commit to the base. Like,
right.
Outside of that scenario, they still feel like they lack the control. So yeah, it could work. I think their plan for DC is let's have 3 capable semi-carries, and if one of them dies, the others can potentially pick up the slack. So in that regard, this build does make sense.
Mason in the trees. The wards are trying to fight him out. They land the Burrow Strike. Actually,
yeah, it's going to be
BKB TP.
TP out. But finally, what I mentioned earlier, they can start taking out shrines. So shrine number 1 down. Shrine number 2 probably next on the list. DC are mobile enough that I don't think losing their shrines ruins them or anything, but it might mean that, heroes are more isolated. Like NP's off on his own. Puck is in very far on his own. Speaking of that, Puck has the linkage, but still Newbee hunting him out. Force Staff forward from Faith, wants to commit. Dubu lurks in the trees. No vision for this. Bulba also hooking away. TP out from the Prophet. Everybody running. They do manage to gale up Abed here. Slowed down. And now with the ward coming in, Kaka could burrow him. Abed, though, has that Lincoln Sphere phase shift. Looking for the blink. The Sandstorm awaits. He still gets it out. Facing the right way, so he has no turn required. And now veiling up the creeps. Getting a little gold as he retreats. Most importantly for Newbee is trying to kill off the shrine. This one ward's not going to do it, but
they'll do it eventually.
But they want to also ensure they don't give up the Roche in the meanwhile. So, still staying around that pit. Yeah, late game Lumi, with the way everyone's itemizing, the hero compositions, who are you favoring?
I don't think Newbee's lineup scaled that well. We talked about Venomancer, not the best late game, but he is mitigating, quote-unquote, with the Manta as well as Heaven's Halberd. I think for Newbee, they're not going to look to scale. They're going to look to finish. Whereas DC, well, up is the story.
Abed wants to jump into the pit. He will be there initially. Phase shift. BKB commitment for Forev. Aegis snatch number 2. Newbee still going to try to duke this out as SCCC trapped in the trees is getting run over by Mason. Eats him from behind. The fresh MKB combined beautifully with the Silver Edge, breaking him and finishing him. So 3 down and Aegis stolen. A massive win for DC. It looks like Dubu will be a trade here as KP lurks on the high ground, but Forev there to cut him off. A couple more auto tech should finish him tanky, but eventually does drop. Cheese also, I think, was claimed in the midst of that. Not sure what happened to it, but DC with the clutch plays. Yeah, so Prophet just TP'd in with a BKB. Oh, Prophet actually has an inventory. Puck jumps in, so suddenly they have 2 heroes in the pit. They get the last hit on the Roche. They again manage, or sorry, not the last hit, but they managed to get the Aegis and the Cheese, so still just catching Newbee off guard.
Yeah.
Newbee not expecting DC to be willing to make that level of commitment to the pit.
They were just faster. I think last team fight at the Roshan pit was the same idea. It just worked out a little bit differently. And now all of a sudden it's DC pushing in the high ground.
Just like that. Huge for DC, just getting this tier 3 could make all the difference. The glyph coming out.
Also, the break being applied on the Bristleback made him quite a non-factor as he dies super fast, like you mentioned. They do get it, and now Burrow Strike coming in. They're going to try to cancel as many TPs as possible. They're going to go on the Sand King. Sand King's going to be dead here on the backline for F being focused. Force Staff up on the high ground, but the coil break just gets the kill.
Shackles from the high, but no follow-up as of yet for Mason. He scurries away and should be able to retreat. Good Lincoln Sphere just to ensure that goo doesn't take hold. DC, they get their own tier 3, so now they can look at shrines. They can look at map control. Cheese gets popped down. Being pinged out by Forev, leaving a treat for his friends.
Yep.
And yeah, it is just feeling like with Bristleback is really the main hitter and a Silver Edge in play, a very mid-game focused build that he's not going to be able to match up late. If that break hits him, Lycan will win the man fight.
I mean, even if there's no break, like, I think DC's late game scaling is quite insane. If you think about it, Puck about to hit 25, 420 is incoming. Clockwork's talent is quite insane. And then Dazzle scales well into late with Grave and Weave. Same thing with Lycan and Prophet.
Yeah, I also think a lot of it is not so much just heroes, though. It is items as well. They've gone for 4 staves. You know, a lot of cheap mid-game items. Nobody went greedy for Newbee. And granted, I don't think it's really a draft where you would, but because of those item selections, they have hamstrung their potential to transition into the late game.
Newbee went from a position where they could have grouped up any time to push to apply pressure. Now, I don't even know whether they can do that anymore. The wards are being focused down very quickly.
I think it just snuck up on them.
Yeah.
That DC was getting combat ready, that DC was gaining the split push and mobility to slow them down, and they were just, you know, a little too complacent with their timing. Like, they didn't go for their first actual high ground siege until what, like 28 minutes? Something
Remember
like
they
that?
dropped one ward mid. And that did like...
Oh, they dropped the wards and then instantly back. It's like they weren't ready to commit.
It wasn't a good high ground siege.
Yeah. Like, if you don't want to go there, you just save the wards. So.
This is, you know, when they picked the Veno after the Shaman, I was like, okay, this is strategy they run a lot. And then they also said they don't run it very well. I think this game is a good example to that, where sometimes the timing for them is not the strongest. Sometimes the individual play from the players are... At least for this strategy, is not the best.
Again, you do go back to the draft, and SCCC Invoker was available.
Yeah.
And obviously, at this point, they'd much rather if he was on Invoker with a Midas. You know, he'd probably be level 25. He could split push, take the game over in a lot of ways. But, you know, the Bristleback was a clear, like, decision as the team to commit to a timing push.
He would have also died a lot, though.
Potentially, yeah.
Because I think there was no answer to the Bristle early. He got to do whatever he wanted.
There's also the Death Prophet. I think Death Prophet potentially could have been better if it got to this point. But again, I think it's much more... The strategy could have worked, they just weren't aggressive enough, and now they're paying the price.
Boba missing another hook?
Yeah. He can afford to miss hooks now.
Not 2013.
We all missed the 2013 Bulba.
I mean, arguably, the 2017 Boba's better. As a player. But maybe not better on the Clockwork.
If you put them in a fight, who would win? 2013 or 2017?
17 for sure. I mean, might be older, but he's also, I think, right now more lean and fit compared to the 2013 Boba, right?
Bulba's always been lean and fit.
No, he's hitting the gym lately.
Is he?
Or like the past 2 years, I think.
Okay. That's news to me. Last time I talked to Bulba, he said he's like, yeah, man, I'm getting fat. Bulba? Oh no, maybe he is a little slow on the reactions there. 2013 Bulba wouldn't have gotten caught like that. No, just breaks the smoke, gets out. In the end, pretty good for the Clock to be the one who goes down there. And now they're going to try to turn this around, looking for Kaka. Shackles are there. Out comes the Weave, and quickly the Sangate's going to start to drop. But the real action is bottom lane, where 4F's coming in, looking for the Mailer X. BKB commitment, TP out. He's going to run. Meanwhile, Mason racing forward with the help of Abed, munching up Fade. Oh, that Purge instantly removing the Ghost Scepter. Mason is out of control, hitting like a truck. And Newbee are getting outmaneuvered.
Yes, they are. They are getting split apart. Look at the bottom. I think that the Rat is back. He's hitting the Raxus again. They're pinging him out, and the Glyph is getting forced out. No matter where they go, Newbee's just outnumbered. Here comes KP to try to slow him down, but guess what? Then top is going to get pushed in, and
Abed's cutting
mid is getting
Mason
pushed. Yeah,
top. Prophet staying bottom. The Rat Dota.
Are we talking about 2013? This is 2013.
Somebody's been watching Alliance replays. Much has changed, but this particular style still has its merits. Mason going to gear up for another round of push, but as CCC urges him away, KP trying to be the vanguard against 4F. Constant rotations, constant pressure. They're going to converge on bottom, give that Sprout. Now look for the break on SCCC. I think 4F was hoping to commit to this, but Hurricane Pike shoves him away. The Lycan of Mason did not want to go, so that push is over. Double damage rune spawning. Roshan up at about a minute, maybe 4 at max.
Yeah, I guess his shapeshift was ending, so he didn't want to commit too hard in the tower.
Or,
So
or the bristle.
Still has a cheese, so. How is Mason so farmed?
Alright, 420 is here, Lugan.
Okay, so
no
Dagon.
Dagon. He's
Okay.
going Octarine with Eggs,
For what?
just for all his spells.
Okay.
Octarine's pretty sick on puck, right?
It's just not a choice that you see too often.
You've got four actives. What's not to like?
Okay.
It's definitely not the most common build. I know I've heard a few people say that they think the Dagon puck is often a trap and it's very overrated.
Interesting. Okay.
And that, you know, it doesn't offer as much. Like, to me, I think it actually makes a lot of sense this game because they have plenty of damage right now that Mason's this big. You really just need as much control and, like, split push and kitey as possible. So hold that thought. Kaka getting munched up. Oh, that crit!
Hey, nice Yules. Let me purge that off.
Phantom Assassin Lycan in the house.
And now he races towards the bottom, gets this arm, runs back. Look at him go.
I've never seen Mason run this fast.
It's a slight on him. Good sir.
I love Mason. He's actually really fun. After they won, or after the summit, he dove in our pool in the backyard. That was pretty cool. Really spiced up the after party. But here comes DC, looking for that high ground siege. The rat is in vogue as Abed in the bottom lane is working on objectives, trying to bring down that rain tracks, that unhealable damage, plink by plink, inch by inch. Bulba fishing for an opening here. Forev still on this bottom lane constantly, but the war trap there, just kidding, surprise! In comes Abed, gets the silence, gets the coil, gets Forev out of there, and well, still SCCC holding the high ground. So, Newbee, constant, full, 3-pronged assault on all sides, but they are holding it as best they can.
They are defending very well. They're not gaining any grounds. They're not really killing people and then forcing them back, but they're not getting pulled apart. Like Navi did back in the day, you know what I'm saying? But all the meanwhile, the 420 rolls. DC getting strong very quickly.
And they're starting to pull a bit of a lead together now, up to about 11k net worth, 5k experience. We hit the 45-minute mark. DC no longer in contention for the upper bracket. Newbee, however, losing this game could tip the balance. OG is trying to sneak in. It's the last team who has a shot but isn't currently, at least as this game started, was not currently in that top 4. So they're certainly going to be rooting for DC here. Kaka now getting caught out. He's out pretty far. And could be punished. Blinking away though. Still retreating, but gets silenced. Here comes Bulba. Nails with the hook. Kaka caught out and now looking for more. The coil's going to snap onto SCCC. They rush forward, locking him down inside the cogs. The orb is there. The 4th staff gaming gets them back to safety, but Abed keeps on committing, keeps on diving deeper. Meanwhile, the Lycan chewing up Faith, the BKB going. He doesn't even need his wolf orb. Oh, maybe he does. Faith gonna get away. Now the turd. Now the turd has the cheese. Waiting for the backpack. 1 second. Oh, yummy, yummy, but still in trouble. Moogie getting to work on him, bringing him down. Mason slow. Mason's overextended. Abed's actually died. Abed does not have buyback.
Did they get something out of it? Did the bottom racks go down? I believe it did. Prophet was working on it. No, they didn't get it. They didn't get anything.
I thought that was a long death timer. I thought he died that, but no, he's just short of the buyback.
Yeah, DC just committed hard, and I think they chased him with Wolf form, right? And then it ran out. Is that what happened?
Oh, Forev, not ready to give up yet. He's like,
unhealable damage.
Well, there was actually backdoor. So that is
healable damage.
Healable damage.
Oh my God! Even when Grant's not here, he is here. In spirit.
I miss Grant. I still remember when he beat Fear in a 1v1.
Damn, what a legend. Alright, Roshan going down.
Why do you think Fear's retired now?
He beat him in 1v1, broke his arm.
Broke his spirit.
Arthritis happened because of Grant. And now he's only a coach.
A Dota story.
Yeah.
All right, Lumi, who's taking this? Who's your money on?
I don't know. It's just like Newbee was supposed to take it, and then DC climbed ahead. They are very much so in the lead. Then they're supposed to take it, and now with the recent development, I'm not sure.
I'm pretty sure Newbee, if they try to commit to this push, it's going to be a repeat of what we saw bottom earlier.
I don't know. Wards are deployed. This time they're not dying. They're not being focused.
But they're coming back soon. Trance are pushing in. Bottom lane. Profit is off top. They're actually not bringing the whole squad back to defend the base. This could come back to haunt them potentially. Boba comes in, looks for the hook from the side, pushes them back into the Wolves waiting clutches, but he needs to focus somebody. Tries to turn on Mugi. The Ghost Scepter's there, purchases it off. Epicenter coming through. Kaka gets out, gets pushed back in, pushed around like a ping pong doll, battered everywhere, and eventually will fall. Now S-Triple-C on the run. They got the melee. Mason's almost dead. He's got a shrine up. S-Triple-C stands as a bulwark with this fresh Octarine. He is very, very tough to kill, and they can't do it. First Rack's blood are drawn now, but answering back might be 4F. The Rat's in. First the range, now the melee. KP arrives, Hurricane Pike. However, Glyph is there, and meanwhile Opet also in the chase, gonna bring down Faith, but eyes on the prize.
Puck
keeps committing, but in comes the Bristle. Soon they're gonna have him. They're gonna be able to force him away. Opet also ratting it out for all his work. Hey, hello, I'm here too now. 4F forced back, Abed to the left, 4F to the right, coming back in, the old rope-a-dope. DC just keep on going, learning from the old Alliance.
Wait,
really
Rack's still alive, kill the creeps!
My turn, he says, but he gets shackled, he gets hexed, he gets counterplayed. No, Clockwork coming in, hook shots there, caging them with the wolf. Can the Lycan munch him up? He brings that Faith, he wants the too. I don't know if he wants those spines in his mouth. He might turn his attention back towards mid. A 1-for-1 exchange thus far. The melee also brought down. The Rack's advantage is now DC's, and they've still got their buybacks.
Alright, Forever is carrying super hard. The key mistake during the Radiant Siege was the fact that Newbee had cheese on Mugi and had Venomancer ult on Mugi, and he used neither. I don't know what he was thinking. I don't know where he was looking. What ended up the matter is the fact that he died with cheese in his backpack, or rather his inventory. Had he not died there, I don't think that DC would have had the HP to actually make the plays that they did, right? They would have all ate the Venomancer ult.
Yeah, he never got off the Poison Nova in that fight, right?
Right, that's the problem. That's the problem. And that is a costly mistake.
Look at this, KP, Abyssal Blade Underlord, Lumi. They gotta find some way to control this split push.
Oh, he doesn't have it yet. I thought
yeah, but he's very close.
I was like...
It's coming. It's coming.
Also, a lot of damage block between Crimson and a new Vanguard that's gonna get next. Oh, Kaka finds himself Dubu.
Not the biggest kill, but they'll take it if they can.
Miscommunication.
Not the best combo, but still Dubu on the run. Doesn't even have a TP scroll. This should be a guaranteed kill, but they're chasing so far for a little old Dazzle, and now Mason's coming in. Oh, by the way, don't forget about the Rat, because pushing in the middle lane is Abed. Mugi being run down again. Cheese is there. He's gonna pop it up, then the push away, but still Mason keeps on pursuing, chewing through him. It's Snake for dinner. Takes him down, and now on the other side of the fight, it looks like S-Triple-C. He's been trapped, controlled. Eventually 4F will crack that Aegis. Venomancer dead for 100 seconds. They won't have the Poison Nova for this next fight if it continues. Meanwhile, Faith trying to push out mid, frantically holding the line. There's no Rat, at least right now. The side push is coming, but that's it from the Nature's Prophet as they look to control the Wolf. They need that Abyssal Blade. Boy, they would sure love the stun now to help deal with Mason. The Basher's doing what it can, though. Pit Lord holding on for all he's worth, but now surrounded and being dealt with. The wards get dropped. Faith with the Stretch Armstrong Shackles instantly canceled out. DC back away, and they leave Abed to die. Puck down, has the buyback. They have not gotten more objectives, but they at least are going to force Newbee on their heels.
Yeah, but you committed your wards for that, right? So there's no counterplay anymore. Had he not used the ward, maybe he could run down the mid lane or whatever, and then just commit and get something out of it. I think we need something like Ag Scepter, Refresher for Newbee to even have a chance to win this game. The way it's going. Raxus goes down top.
Uh-oh. We're having a bit of trouble here. Look what I found. Catch him out. Hex him up. Bring him down. He tried to force staff and just went
nowhere.
Caramine off the wall.
Yeah.
And into his demise. We're getting to the twilight zone of Dota now, Lumi. 20k gold lead, nearly for DC, but how much does it truly matter? Roshan getting less and less important in some ways in terms of like key heroes running out of inventory slots, but more and more important in that buybacks are everything.
I think the gold matters a lot for Newbee. Like they definitely could use 20k worth of gold on let's say Shaman or on Veno, I guess.
Newbee trying to strike back. They're going to send SCCC into the base. The range tracks the focus. Permanent damage all being dealt with. Conk behind. The whole team grouping up. Ranged is down. Melee next on the list. Glyph is available and being held in reserve. There's no profit for 50. They are going to Glyph.
They have Serpent Ward back
Do
up
they
relatively
commit?
soon.
They might try to go for Megas off of this. They could get a critical creep wave advantage, but now the buyback from Forever, and they re-engage. They chase on the Mugi. This time, he gets off the Poison Nova. This time, he is kiting them, wasting that precious wolf form for the Lycan, who's now being controlled. Bashed up by KP. Pit Lord, standing strong, at least for now, while meanwhile, up in the northern end of this fight,
look at Faith.
is trying to ramp
Faith. He's walking toward the Raxus.
Still not able to get kills. Mason does eat him, but it's at the cost of bashes. They need more.
Faith has deployed the wards.
The wards.
Wait, Faith, where you at?
He did not deploy the ward.
Faith!
He could have deployed the ward.
You had one job, Faith!
I don't know if they'd creep to the base. It might have been a waste. Now they do mid anyway, but SCCC going for the TP out. He'll get back to safety. Mason somehow survives through all of that.
This game.
Absolute madness again. Our third clowning game of the day. What did they put in the coffee this morning?
I don't know, like, this game started like super slow. Both teams are having very organized team fights. It was like two gentlemen playing, chess match. Now it's just...
They need those Abyssal Blades. Like, this Lycan actually would have died if they had one, let alone two.
Yeah.
SCCC, he's got one queued up. KP also. And the thing is, the Lycan's BKB has been down to 5 seconds for a while, Lumi. So that control becomes a problem in these prolonged fights. And to be honest, all of them see prolonged now.
They have multiple disarms as well, so he's just not right-clicking all that much anymore.
I think the Lycan is really falling off in terms of like the chance that he can have a big impact in these fights.
Abed gets rooted up.
He's going to start his true form nice and early here. Do they commit? Shapeshift now down. But they'll be coming back soon. Very low cooldown once it gets to level 3, so can have the up time most of the time.
Maybe, does he have a slot for Octarine? Is that crazy to say? He doesn't have a slot for Octarine. With Octarine, as well as your Shapeshift cooldown, you could have perma Shapeshift. Although I don't even know if that's important.
It doesn't hurt, right?
Well, it costs a slot, right? That's because what the hell is Octarine doing for you?
It does hurt. Yeah. Never mind, but
I mean, you could howl more frequently.
At that point, well, he already doesn't have boots. Yeah, I don't know. You could get rid of like the Mask of Madness. He's not really truly 6-slotted, These are mid-game items. Armlet, MOM. I think he has to keep the Diffusal Blade for the Ghost Scepters. And there's also an E-Blade, by the way. I don't think we ever mentioned that.
Yep.
Oh wait, he never finished it. He had the money for it, but I guess he went a different direction. Still, the Ghost Scepters are a problem.
So like 40 minutes ago, I was like, hey, there's a Yasha on Veno. Maybe that's not the best build. Now it's totally paying off. The fact that he's actually right-clicking.
Carry Veno.
Well, not carry. Like he just basically kited so hard just now, right, against the Lycan, that every bit of extra movement speed matter in that engagement for sure.
DC, they are not having any easy games today, huh? That is for damn sure. They're going to try to burrow here, the double burrow combo. Now the Hex up on Bulba. Do they really want to commit this much on a Clockwork? They're going to try bashing him up. But meanwhile, Mason on the backlines, chewing through Conk, almost instantly deleting him. Bulba stays alive. They bloat so much for a little Clockwork. That is not worth. And oh my god, SCCC. They plucked off all his spines and killed him off with ease. Now the turn, though, as the Epicenter comes through, looking for Forev on the high ground. Keep an eye on the buybacks. They will decide this game potentially. Bristleback no longer his available. He's got ensure he doesn't die a second time. Forev graved up, still in the fight. Somehow Bulba has lived through this. The Lycan's dead for 100 seconds, but he has the buyback. The Prophet, no such luck. No NP for 100. No push really coming. Just a few creeps in the base. Bulba's now finally in danger. That's going to be the 5th kill of the fight. Newbee have done it. They've wiped the floor with DC, and they can go in for a 4v5 power play.
Oh, the line is strong by KP. They need to make sure that the waves are pushed out. There are 3 buybacks, available on the side of DC. But I think if you get the Shaman in the base and he gets to drop wards,
I think they should be able to get Megas off of
right,
this.
But does he have wards? He doesn't have wards. I guess it doesn't even matter at this point.
Even with that, the Bristleback
the
is an
Bristleback
AC and an Abyssal. He could just hit the tower.
Go, 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 go.
Look at KP now, suddenly 38.
Have you ever seen a Abyssal Blade?
I actually like this. Like, the Lycan running around freely in the fights was ruining them, and double Abyssal puts a stop to that.
Hey, there you go. Uber, let's go. Take us to the mid lane. The buybacks are coming out, but racing towards the Raxus is SC.
All in now for DC. They've had so many close games today, but this might be their third loss in as many games after a 6-6 start. Can they bounce back? Newbee, focus on objectives now. They'll pop up the Shivas for KP, but the real heavy lifting is just smack you at that tier 3. Abyssal on the Lycan, control them while they can. Second Abyssal has already been used as they try to lock down and kill off Abed. That's a dieback on him. Now the Wolf runs in, but the Wolf is no match for a pack of fiends, and that's exactly what Newbee brought to this fight. They overwhelm DC. No buybacks on 3. Prophet still out for 20. No rat in sight. The game is Newbee's for the taking in a must-win game to ensure their top 4 slot and upper bracket ticket. They do prevail and still maintain that inside position heading into their last game.
This strategy is not supposed to win in 58 minutes, but hey, they did. They scaled late, and they were able to itemize somehow for the late game as well and take it in the victory.
What a morale busting day for DC. My god.
Yep.
I don't know what the atmosphere is like in that